So I don't often review albums that have been out for a while. In fact, I haven't done a traditional review for an album like that's been far from the release date of the album yet. And most of the reason why I haven't done this yet is because one, I haven't been reviewing. I've only been reviewing since July, but the only reason why I really haven't done this is because I've never really seen the point. But I did start to realize that I do like to review classic and older albums more than I like to review new ones sometimes, because a lot of the time, like the new albums that have been coming out recently, I haven't been listening to because they've all been receiving the same reception, and I feel like I'll be giving them the same review. I'll probably give Burden of Proof by Freddie Gibbs an A- or a B+ in that range. I'll probably give Reason's album a B+. They're all going to be albums that I like, and there's not really anything interesting. But today, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City turns 8 years old. And while this isn't like a giant milestone, 8 years isn't that long, and obviously in like a month, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy turns 10, I'll obviously review that. Like, I'll always review My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy when that happens. But I recently just got into this album again. I re-listened to it yesterday. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to purchase the vinyl for this album. The first vinyl I've ever actually solo purchased. I own some, but none of them are for hip-hop. I'm going to purchase the vinyl for the actual album, and it's actually it's one of my favorite albums. And I thought, you know what, I want to do a normal review of this album. It'll probably be a lot longer because I have a lot more to say about the individual tracks on this, and this could arguably be one of the most easy and one of the most fun albums to analyze and go track by track through, because you see how the tracks evolve and how Kendrick does different ideas and themes. And it's overall just a great, amazing album in my opinion. I will probably give it a rating at the end, but it's a little difficult for me to give it a rating because it's already kind of obvious what I'd give this masterpiece of an album. But I re-listened to it yesterday. I picked up because I was interested to hear what the themes, of the album were. And I thought, you know what, since I'm purchasing the vinyl and everything, and it's 10 years old, or 8 years old this week, and I want to get a review up for a Kendrick Lamar thing, because I'm waiting for this new whatever he's going to drop whenever he drops it. So, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City by Kendrick Lamar. I'm going to go track by track through it, and I'm going to spend a lot more time on each track than I usually do because I have a lot more to say on each track than I usually do. This is not nearly as traditional as some of my other videos will be, because most of my other videos, I don't have nearly as much to say about every track, and I've just heard the album twice. I've heard this album so many times, and I've at least at one point been obsessed with every track on this album. And I mean that, all 12. Not counting, even though I'm using the deluxe cover, you know what, I'll briefly go over what the deluxe has to offer. I won't analyze it because yesterday I'm going off of my impression yesterday. I think my second time listening to it just front to back. I've just heard every song a million times independently. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go track by track through, and at the end I will discuss what that bonus disc has to offer. There's 6 bonus tracks. I think 2 are remixes. Or there's 5 bonus tracks and 3 remixes. So I don't even need to pull up the track list. I have it memorized in my head. The order of tracks is just engraved in my head. So without further ado, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. Let's go with the first track. I was thinking originally I was just gonna cut between tracks, but I don't see the point in it. Track number 1 is Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter. Most people refer to it as Shireen, though. Shireen is essentially the opening track to Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. And what this track is about is it's mostly just about a girl. It's about Kendrick Lamar chasing a girl. He recovers and recites and just recalls over the past few months talking to this girl and his experiences with her. And at the end of the track, as he's driving to her house, he gets pulled over by 3 guys. Not pulled over, but he gets stopped by 3 gang members, and we're left with that context, and we end the song with a phone call from Shireen, asking where he is. And I really like this song. The problem, though, with this song, though, I have to admit, is, and I think this is something Kendrick does very well, the opening track on his album never's the best. It's never the highlight. It's always the thing that needs to say you off for the album. I mean, Fuck Your Ethnicity isn't inherently my favorite on Section 80. It is a great track, one of my favorites on that. But obviously tracks like Ronald Reagan Era, Poor Man's Dreams, and High Power are better. On To Pimp a Butterfly, Wesley's Theory. Love Wesley's Theory, but it's not the highlight of T-Pab. Not even one of the highlights, honestly, because it's T-Pab. But on Damn, I guess in terms of actual songs, he opens with DNA, which while Duckworth is my favorite from that album, DNA is pretty amazing, and it's probably my second favorite. But he kind of opens with Blood. That is most of the opening of that album. So Charade opens up this album, and it opens it up on a really easy to digest note. And I like that because of how grand this album's themes get. This album becomes very larger than life. Or not actually completely not true. That's completely inaccurate. I just mean it's a large album. I just mean like the themes on this album get big. It doesn't really hold back. Charade kind of is actually a really nice track if you think about it, because it's a great opener because it really sets you for the mood of this album. It's not heavy. It's not intense at all. It's not really that violent or anything. It's just a really calming track. It feels a lot like a track you could listen to on a night drive. I really like it for that. I think he really just simply describes wanting to go have sex with a woman. It's not anything much different other than that. And I really love it for that, and I think he handled that very well. The production on this is really nice. Even though it is probably my least favorite on the whole album, it's Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, so there really isn't a least favorite track. Technically there is, but it's just so amazing. We move into track number 2. I don't know how much... Yeah, I think I'm ready to go on track number 2 is Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. You have undoubtedly heard this song. Any Kendrick fan has heard this song. Any Kendrick fans hopefully heard Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. But Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe is the most played song from this album on Spotify. Not Spotify, YouTube. And I personally don't like that because I don't think it's thematically that important to the album. I don't think it was recorded in the same context of that album. It's a track I feel like... There are tracks on this album that were undoubtedly recorded after he knew what he wanted the themes on this album to be. I don't think this one is supposed to be. Nonetheless, this is a great trap, glamorous banger. I like the way it handles the idea of Christianity, but like clubbing and like what trap songs talk about in the same song. It feels very glamorous. I love the way the guitar and the trap really mix together. His lyrics saying, "I am a sinner, I'm probably gonna sin again, Lord forgive me for things I don't understand." That's fully Christian. And if you watch the music video, it's a bunch of Christians dancing. In a lot of ways, it's a song I still have yet to fully realize if there's a really deep meaning to the song, or if it's not just supposed to be like a really calm, awesome banger. But there's something I really love about it, and I think it's a really fun track, and it sets the mood for the album, where, like I said, this album is not beginning with the best. It is slowly going in. It is slowly letting you ease into the themes the album will be bringing up. Shireen is somebody who comes up throughout the album, and now this glamorous banger about being rich and following religion and whatnot. It's a track, though, I don't fully understand in terms of its themes. Comment below, actually, some themes about that. I'm admitting that I don't fully understand what this track's talking about. Then we move into Backseat Freestyle, which is basically where the themes on this album start becoming more obvious. This is a track that is okay, I heard a video very well describe this. I can't remember the exact video, but they very well described this. Good Kid, M.A.A.d City teaches the ending theme that there are two sides to every human being. There's man and citizen. Man is the person who wants to go out, become the best there is, make all the money in the world, become the greatest man ever, defeat everyone in their past, just become the best. That's man. Citizen is the one who understands that that's not what the purpose of life is. And citizen understands that you are the result of many circumstances. You, in some ways, aren't really that different. And you, well, in essence, are just another piece of the puzzle. And you're another just piece in the grand universe that you're not going to really matter much in the future. Which side's more mature? Citizen. But man often takes over. I think Backseat Freestyle is meant to be the song embodying man. I could argue that with Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, but I think it's this. And the reason why I think it's this song, obviously I know why this thing is this song. I mentioned wanting to have all the money and power. All my life I want money and power. There's, obviously the theme that this track is going for is being in the backseat of a car and just rambunctiously freestyling. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if this is a genuine freestyle. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's a fun track. It's also just on top of being thematic to the album. Has really fun just sound to it. It's really in your face, and I love it for that. It's one of my highlights on this album, honestly. It's such a fun, just overall enjoyable track, and it adds a lot to the album. Then we move into track number 4, Art of Pure Pressure, which is very connected to Backseat Freestyle. Backseat Freestyle, this feels like this is something he does very well on this album. Backseat Freestyle is about being with the homies like in the backseat of a car. Art of Pure Pressure explores being with the homies, like how he says in the song, I'm with the homies right now, but it explores it in a very different way. It explores it from a bit of an outside view. This is the thing he does very well on this album. Takes an idea, either first explores it from the outside and then goes into his perspective of it, like being in it, or the other way around, telling it from the, or being in it and then telling it from the outside. He does this with Good Kid and then following that up with m.A.A.d City. m.A.A.d City being within the violence, Good Kid talking about the violence. I'm trying to think of some other examples on this album. He does this multiple times. You could argue that Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is being within the contemplation of life, and Real is talking about the contemplation of life. But point is though is that this track is meant, actually no, I have a better example. Swimming Pools is about being within the state of being stuck in addiction. Sing About Me's talking about it. I'm still exploring the ideas that this album gives me. But when we go back to the Art of Pure Pressure, talking about this track beyond it being a piece of the album's themes, it's a great song. I love the way the first minute and a half or so is just a classic hip-hop produced song. Then it just switches to bass and drums. Bass and 808s, actually. And it just moves on from there. That sounds really nice. It's a really dark but kind of intense song. It's really quiet but mysterious almost. I really love the way that's handled, and it's really well just production-wise. It's brilliantly put together. And Kendrick's more soft rapping, talking about basically just committing a crime, a crazy crime, and then barely making it away from the cops, ending with the lines, another lucky night with the homies. It adds something to the layer of this being what's actually going on in Backseat Freestyle. Backseat Freestyle is him just loving being with the homies. The Art of Pure Pressure is that. It is being with the homies and what it actually is like. So it's not in a fun sense like Backseat. It's not in a rambunctious, insane sense like Backseat Freestyle is. It's in its own way. This is a great way to set the album off because it's a great way for us to show how this album explores Kendrick's childhood and the story of a kid in a mad city. It just sets that up very well. This is a great track. It's a highlight from the album, honestly. I absolutely love everything the Art of Pure Pressure does. It is amazing. Then we are given, if I can remember, Money Trees. Yes, Money Trees is next. Money Trees is a song I have started to realize doesn't 100% fit. I don't mean it doesn't belong. I mean in the overall grand scheme that Good Kid, m.A.A.d City wants to tell, Money Trees falls into being perfectly placed on the album, being followed with Poetic Justice, just a glamorous love song, and being preceded with the Art of Pure Pressure. What I'm going to say about Money Trees, though, is I'm going to actually go back to Anthony Fantano's review of this album, where he says that the way this works, the order of this album goes Money Trees, Poetic Justice, Good Kid, then m.A.A.d City. Good Kid, then m.A.A.d City is its own thing. That's obviously they're very interconnected tracks. But the way he described this very well was Money Trees and Poetic Justice is being stuck in your mind in a dream, while going into Good Kid is when you wake up to the reality of your life. I agree with this, and I think that's why this is done. But this is another reason why I think Money Trees isn't inherently Good Kid, Matt. It's not like The Art of Pure Pressure, where it like almost barely, it feels like it works best in the album. Money Trees discusses ideas this album wants to discuss. It's a song I still have yet to 100% perceive what it's talking about. But I know obviously it's talking about money, obviously. But obviously the line, the one in front of the gun lives forever. Talking about the song in a production standpoint, it is a highlight from the album. It's actually probably top 3 on the album for me. The production he does on this is so well put together. The hook is so catchy. I've often considered this being my all-time favorite Kendrick song. On top of the J-Rock verse at the end, and just top of the fact that it's 6 minutes and never gets boring, the beat is so addicting. I love it so much. I feel like he handled everything he wanted to do so well. I have a confidence this is Hit Boy. I'm not sure. I think this is Hit Boy, though. It does not sound like Dre. It might not be Hit Boy. I don't know. I know he did production on this. It's a great song. Has so many great themes on this. And I don't know who did the middle verse, but whoever did that middle verse really ruined it. They didn't ruin their verse. They did great on their verse. But the middle verse now, to me, is the TikTok meme or the TikTok trend. Girls were doing their little dance to the song that was about black oppression and economics, and I don't even know what the song is 100% about, but I love it. But it's definitely not about white girls dancing to it. It's a great song though. It's perfect, honestly. I really had thus far on every track on this album, I can't really say there's a flaw with any tracks. Obviously I like some more than I like others, but I can't really say there's something wrong with any of these. I feel like what he was going for in all of them was achieved. Then we're given Poetic Justice, which I think is a pretty underrated track, despite the popularity of the track. A lot of people, I think, just write this off as it doesn't really fit in the album, and I don't personally disagree. In a lot of ways, I could argue Poetic Justice, production-wise, barely sounds like it belongs on the album. Thematically, it has nothing to do with ghetto or anything. It almost feels like if Shireen was like its own more pop-centered hit rap style song, but I have to admit the production is really creative and Drake's verse is so good. I love his verse so much. He killed it. I think the reason why this track existed before the idea of Good Kid, Mad City. I wouldn't be surprised if the year before when Take Care was recorded, when Kendrick recorded his interlude on Take Care, the same day or so he recorded Poetic Justice. But it works. I don't think it feels out of place on the album. And if we're going by Anthony Fantano's idea that this is a dream part of the album, then it fits very well. It's a glamorous love song about just a girl he likes. It's really simple, actually, and I really like it. Although somebody explained to me in the comments why he uses Poetic Justice as his explanation and how this girl would like it. I don't get why Poetic Justice is what he uses, but I love the song. I feel like it fit very well with the album, and it works incredibly well with what I think he's going for, despite the fact that it doesn't 100% fit. Then we are introduced into one of the most important but underrated and overlooked tracks Kendrick's ever done, Good Kid. Very well, this song just is the reality of the situation. The reality of the fact being that it's hard. His life is hard, and the ghetto is difficult, and being the good kid isn't easy. It's a song I still have yet to pick up on the themes on, because it's a song... Until last listen, actually, I didn't realize how much I love this song. It was often probably ranked as my second least favorite on the album, but I started to realize that he does so much with this song, and there's something that's so much fun about it, but at the same time so intense about it. I like the beat. I like the mass hallucination, ill education. There's something about this song that feels almost like a setup. Almost feels like a prologue to what m.A.A.d City's gonna do. m.A.A.d City, the song itself, is one of two things that this album wants to go for. I think when you hear m.A.A.d City, you are supposed to think this is the heart of the album, and this is the answer of the whole album, Good Kid, m.A.A.d City. I don't think that. I think m.A.A.d City, in its intention, is supposed to be... How do I describe this? The question. If that makes sense, I think this is meant to be the question. And to explain it, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, and Real is the answer. Going back to m.A.A.d City, though, this is the first track I heard from this album, probably like many people. It was very popular. It won a lot of Grammys. And while a lot of people have gone out to say this is the best song Kendrick's ever made, it's not the best in my opinion, but it is up there. It's definitely top 5 for me. I love this song, though. First beat. First beat is one of my favorite beats, just ever. Both beats are, honestly. I remember when I first heard this song, not really caring for beat 2. And honestly, I think for many years, I only knew this song for the first 2 minutes. Just for the yeah, yeah, yeah. And I love that so much. He gets so aggressive, fast-paced, and his voice crack. It's so well done. He sounds so just anxious and ready on the whole first part of the song. I have the whole thing memorized. I'm not going to rap it right now, but I have the whole verse memorized from every single word he says. He just says so much so fast in so little time, and that is so perfectly describing what this song is about. This song is chaos, and that is 100% the point. I know. This song is so not organized. Not at all. He is not going analyzing each aspect at a time. He's just throwing every single thing about the ghetto right there. That is what I like about this, because while Good Kid, M.A.A.d City is about the ghetto, M.A.A.d City is where a lot of it is located. Like, most of it's located in this one spot. Good Kid and M.A.A.d City combined, but a good chunk of it is just in M.A.A.d City. And that is because this is the song that's meant to just blow up. And when you get to that second beat, it goes into a far more G-Funk sound. You get MC8 on this, which works very well with what you know as one of the most classic rappers of his era. Going right in with just a great delivery, really great aggression from MC here. And it all just comes across. And the way his final verse goes down, Kendrick just sounds... I feel like he almost callbacks to Average Joe from Overly Dedicated. Like, if I killed a man at 16... I don't know the whole lyrics. I just know if he says innocent Kendrick here. It's so well done. That final verse is often considered one of the best verses in rap history, and I agree. Unless we're counting verse 1 of this song, I guess it is one verse. That's probably my favorite Kendrick verse. Just an immaculate song. The production is amazing. It's so well delivered, done. Kendrick had an idea on this song. He had a goal, and oh my god, he delivered it perfectly. This song's easily 10 out of 10 track. It is so amazing. Then we move into Swimming Pools, another song I heard before this album. This is what Poetic Justice wants to be. I think I could when I first heard this album, I could sit there and say, I don't think Swimming Pools needs to be here. I love this song, but I don't think it needs to be here thematically. Looking at this song, though, nope, it needs to be here because of what it is talking about. It is simultaneously itself. At the eye, I do have to agree. I do think it's a little ironic that this became a party song. Swimming Pools, a song that's 100% about how bad alcohol is, becomes a party song. But I sat there and I thought for a second earlier yesterday, and I thought, how many songs can you say you've heard about alcohol? I don't mean like, there are obviously a lot like party songs and whatnot, but I sat there and I thought, how many rap songs? I mean hip-hop. I'm focusing on hip-hop right now. How many hip-hop songs have you heard you could say 100% just are about alcohol? Not about alcohol addiction, not about alcohol overdose, just about it being good, about it being fun, about it being terrible. How many songs could you say do that? Probably not many. And I know the reason why he chose alcohol. He could have chosen drugs. I am no doubt in my mind Kendrick has tried all types of drugs, but I mean, this is what I thought of. Okay, ask 130-year-old adults if they've drinking alcohol, or if they've done drugs like cocaine. How many of them are going to say alcohol? If they're over 30, it is very likely 80 to 90 of them. If you were to ask like something like cocaine, it might be less than half. I really don't know how the average person is doing cocaine, but to my knowledge, most people, at least over the drinking age, have drinking. In fact, it's very traditional on your 21st birthday to get a beer because it's very common in our culture. So Swimming Pools is so I can't relate to it because I'm under the drinking age, but it's so relatable to everybody because so many people and the majority of Kendrick's listeners know what he's talking about. They know what they're talking about when he says, when he's talking about the whole idea of this being possibly his downfall, being awful, but also being fun. He analyzes it so well over one of the best. This is my favorite trap song ever. I'm just saying it out the gate. I love things like Goosebumps, Start From the Bottom and Energy, and Ric Flair Drip. I don't know why I said Ric Flair Drip. I don't know why I said that might be the best trap song ever. It's a great trap song, but not the best. Point is that I cannot think of another trap song I just love as much as Swimming Pools. I feel like what this song's themes and ideas are, he handles just perfectly. His rapping, and I love the way in the second verse the voice in his head comes by. I could really actually analyze what this song's overall themes are because I have the whole thing memorized in my head. But overall, it works so well. And I've heard somebody say that this is a depressing but accurate prologue to what am I calling it? Oh yeah, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is, which I've been talking about all video. It is really though. This is such a fun but also dark track. Also, the extended version I don't usually listen to. I usually skip it before that comes on because I think the extended version only is there to connect this with the album because you get another Shireen call at the end of it, and it feels more for that. But we're talking about the original track. It's amazing. It's one of the best songs on the album. And despite the fact, and I think it talks about a lot about the whole idea that what the next 3 tracks are going to talk about, or mostly just next 2, talk about so much just about being human. This track is the prologue to that because it talks about one of the most common but worst things humans do, drink alcohol. And it prologues that by taking something that you do either to just have fun or to forget about the world. So Swimming Pools is brilliant. It is arguably my favorite song this album has to offer. It is amazing, perfectly well produced, a really catchy track, despite the fact that it's not like it's not like Poetic Justice, where even though it is very solo to the album, it fits so well. It fits so perfectly. This is an easy track. Even though it's a really common, probably best track for this album, I just love what it does. And it's arguably the song that kind of set Kendrick up to be as one of the as popular as he was. Moving into Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. A track for the ages. A track that I don't think cannot be called the best song on this album. I don't think you can argue it's not, because I don't think you can argue that this isn't the heart of this album. Remember how I said that Good Kid, M.A.A.d City is the question, or is the cry? The 2 songs, by the way, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is the answer. The whole song leads to an idea. The idea is living. That's it. It's living happy. It's living in consciousness. It's living in... My God, I just realized something. It's living in life, just being citizen. This is the citizen song, if you really think about it, because it's a song of realization. The first verse on this, I'm not going to go over all verses over the 12 minutes, but the first verse on this is very much so hard for me to pinpoint what it is and who's talking. I know this is not Kendrick talking, but what I'm very much confident this is someone whom has really lost their ways, talking about I hope I could borrow peace of mind on what's really important. One of my favorite bars Kendrick's ever done, when thunder comes, it rains cats and dogs. But other lines just like that, and it ends with, promise me you'll make it big, and when your album drop, I hope. So that's why I believe that this is not Kendrick talking, a friend of his talking. I really want to know what this song is about, what this verse is about. Please tell me in the comments what this verse is about. Then we move into verse 2, which is very easy to pinpoint. It is the sister of Keisha from Keisha's song on Section 80 talking. This is why I'm in the full point that, I don't know if I've ever said this before, that Section 80, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, and To Pimp a Butterfly is a trilogy. And let me explain that why. I might explain that more in the future because I plan to talk about To Pimp a Butterfly a lot in the future. But the reason why I think this is the case is because I think Section 80, I think these 3 albums, and the reason why I don't put Damn as like the 4th installment is because I don't think Damn, I love Damn. But the reason why it's my least favorite Kendrick album is because I don't think it gave me anything the other 2 couldn't. I love that album, but just, it provided me with new themes, yeah, and it's a really deep album when you think about it, but the ones leading up to it, far more heavy on the themes, and far more mind-blowing. I wouldn't say Section 80 mind-blowing, but there's something about all the stories he tells and all the themes he tells then that is tied into Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, because instead of focusing on everyone in the ghetto, he focuses on himself in the ghetto. Not telling these stories of Keisha and Tammy, just Kendrick. That is what Good Kid, M.A.A.d City's about. To Pimp a Butterfly, I call the third because it is everything. It is about the ghetto. It is another story about Kendrick, but it also focuses on larger themes. It feels like what Section 80 does and Good Kid, M.A.A.d City does, and adds its own taste to it, which is why I think T-Pab is his best album, and arguably the greatest hip-hop album ever. Maybe Illmatic's better, but Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, if we're back to this album, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, second verse is about Keisha's sister, and I really like the way she talks about, like, I don't like the fact that you use my sister as your song idea. I don't like that. She died in vain, and I feel like you're just using her story to tell it to other people. And as the song fades out, it's really interesting, actually, how almost ironic the verse becomes, because she says lines, obviously, like, I'll never fade away, and other lines along those lines, like I just said, I'll never fade away, stuff like that. That really comes down to the theme of, I don't like you talking about my sister in that way. Then the final verse, Kendrick talks to both of them, and he almost just wraps the song. By the way, let me just say this about there's the hook and the beat are beautiful. Like, my God, they're so mystically amazing. And the beat of this, the drums at least, are just copied and pasted in Metropolis by Logic. I hate Logic for that, honestly. I love Logic as a rapper, but just, my God, that was so retarded of him. So shitty of him, honestly, because I know he very, very clearly gets inspiration from Kendrick. But going back to what Kendrick's whole themes are on the album he's made here, there's something so deep about it, and he talks just about both of them. The whole ending, part of the first half, is just life. Second half of the song, by the way, the vocals at the end of this stuff, the Promise Me You'll Sing About Me Forever, is amazing. I love the way he just talks about in the song, sing about me, because I feel like I'm going to go away when I'm dead. I feel like after I'm dead, no one's going to remember me. I want to feel like people will remember me, so promise you'll sing about me forever. Going into I'm Dying of Thirst, feels a little bit more of a cry for help, if that makes sense. You could argue it's a different song, technically is, than Sing About Me, but there's obviously a reason why they're conjoined in one song, because if they weren't conjoined, Kendrick would not conjoin these in one song just for the heck of it. They're obviously conjoined for a reason. In this second part, he talks about his whole it's not a song I'm as familiar with, but I know he's just being a little more direct this time. And he talks about how he feels like he's lacking, he feels like something's missing. Then in the next 30 seconds, that question is answered. What's missing? Kendrick keeps thinking about life, looking for the answer, because he knows that M.A.A.d City isn't the answer. I'm not always going to be the good kid in the M.A.A.d City. What's the answer? God. That is the answer. This is answered in the ending skit of this song, where he talks about this woman talks to a bunch of guys and says, you are saying you're dying of thirst. You need water, holy water. And they just pray and say, I come to you a sinner. What is the line again? No, what is the sin? I am a sinner who's probably going to sin again. There. Ties back into that song. Feels like you've gone really far at this point. And she just ends the song up by saying, this is the start of your real life. Why I think Real is another really underrated track. Because Real is that idea. It's about being real. I know Anna Wise's hook is kind of repetitive. And I know it can be annoying. And it's not nearly as cool as Her These Walls or Institutionalized performance. But just take a second to listen to what the actual song Real is about. It's about living real. It is about being the citizen. It is about finding citizen. Because before this point, before these two songs, Citizen is what Kendrick is. Real is him finding and him living real life. He just says it flat out in the middle of the song. Drugs, money, power, that's not real. Connection with people, love. God, that's real. Such a mature idea for a hip-hop album. How many hip-hop albums can say that the answer... How many albums even say the answer isn't money and power? M.A.A.d can't. Ready to Die can't. Enter the Wu-Tang can't. The Marshall Mathers LP can't. Marshall Mathers LP isn't about money or power, though. Not at all. But this is probably the most uplifting album Kendrick's made. One of the most uplifting albums in terms of like just themes ever. Then we move into Compton, the ending song on this album. And at first I always was kind of like not really 100 on this being the ending, because I was always kind of like, doesn't really fit, I mean, with what he's talking about on the whole thing. He's not talking about being loving Compton, celebrating it, but there is something really nice about it. Getting Dre on the track, making a celebratory track, just on its own, it's a great song. And I heard somebody describe it like this, so I'm just going to use it because I think it's probably what this song is going for. This song sets you back into the loop. It feels like celebratory, but it feels like a kind of... You could listen to Shireen and then go back through the loop this album is. And it's not even a hard album to go in a loop in. It's like 12 songs. But that's the ending thing this album goes for. And it's amazing. And even though Compton isn't one of the best, it's probably my second least favorite, honestly, of the whole album. It is such a fun, energetic, celebratory song. And it feels like him kind of celebrating making it. You made it to the end. You made it to the end of the circle. Now let's go back. Go back to Shireen and re-listen to this. That is exactly why Good Kid, M.A.A.d City is probably a top 5 album ever for me. I just can't even describe how immaculate this album is. I have no doubt in my mind that there's a lot that this album was cut from, and I will get to that soon. I'll get to that actually after I give it my rating, because I feel like when I review this album, I'm reviewing the 12 songs, not deluxe. There's something that's so beautiful about the whole thing, the whole circle he goes in by the end, and just the whole theme of it's starting like a normal hip-hop album, just a really well thought out hip-hop album, like just everything about it's really thought out and well done. Sing About Me, though, in Swimming Pools and that whole side of the album is where that changes and where it differs, where it stops becoming another album about the hood and starts becoming almost the answer. By second album, he's telling us this, by the way. Kendrick was telling us how to live life by his second album. Amazing. Just how much he does it and just how well he does it is so beautiful, honestly. It's such a well thought out album, and a lot of the time I listen to this, I want to cry because I just don't know how you do this. I don't know how you are able to write and record an album this brilliant. Every track, and I mean every track, is perfect. There is, maybe Shireen isn't the best thing. Neither is Compton. Neither is Poetic Justice. But ranking this album is one of the hardest things ever. It's harder than, like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because at least Hell of a Life is easily the worst on the album. It's harder than M.A.A.d to rank, because I would argue Halftime is the worst on M.A.A.d. It's so hard to rank this album, because I love everything this album does. I think every track is essential, and it's just an amazing piece of album history. It's one of the most important hip-hop albums ever, and yes, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City is one of my favorite hip-hop albums. I love it for everything, and I'm happy it turned 8 years old. I'm moving my head a bit. Obviously, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City deserves and receives an A+. Not hard for me to do at all. I can't seem to find one issue I had with this whole thing. It's amazing, it's perfect, it's beautiful and brilliant. Now let's get to Deluxe. I don't have the order of the Deluxe down, by the way. I know what the first and the final track are. First Deluxe track is The Recipe, which was released far before the album. In a lot of ways, it's kind of its own little LA celebratory track. It's a little bit of a slower, longer Compton. I get why it's not on the album. It shouldn't be on the album. Nothing should be added to this album. It really should just be the 12 songs, because it's already a good hour-long length. But this is a really fun track to me. I like the way the whole thing is just about celebrating money and suspension. It's a good track, great Dre production, and I'm pretty sure this was just made as kind of a marketing for actual Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. Then we have, I think, Black Boy Fly is the next track. And I like it a lot. I like it a lot, but I don't think it's something he hasn't done before. In a lot of ways, it's kind of some of T-Pav's ideas of watch this kid grow and get big, and just live amazing, glamorous life. It's a fun track. I like the vocals on it. I like the beat. It's not a track I'm so familiar with, but I like what it does, and it's entertaining. I really love Now or Never, even though I don't think it's essential to this album, and I think it's not. I think it's good that it's not on this album. If it was, it would actually be an okay closer. Honestly, if I do think about it, I could go for Compton being off and then this being the closer, but I think Compton really works as the closer too, so I will accept what I have. Now or Never is a really just upbeat, love my life song. It's not explicit once. I forget who does the vocals on this, but they do so well. The trumpets, it's so upbeat. It's such a fun track. It's a really inspirational track that's obviously really radio friendly, but I think that's kind of the point. And I know it's, in its own way, it adds a lot to the album. Then we have the 2 remixes. We have the Recipe Black Hippie remix, which I like. I don't care for it though, and I'd just rather listen to the original Recipe. It's a remix that doesn't really add much. None of the verses like blow me away. Overall, the original Recipe works fine for me, and I don't really need this remix to throw in a couple Black Hippie verses. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe remix is cool because I like to hear Jay-Z and Kendrick on a track. Jay does well, Kendrick does well. Obviously Kendrick does well, but I think this is the best track for him to remix, but I was like, you know, I'd like to hear some remixes of other songs in this. I'd like to hear a remix with, I don't know, throw somebody on Mad City. That'd be cool. Throw somebody on Money Trees. Oh, that'd be cool, hearing somebody on Money Trees. But I know why he did Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, because it's not inherently the heaviest track. And it's one of the easier to digest opening tracks of this album. So yeah, that's Good Kid, Mad City. This is a long review. I did not want this to be this long. I wanted this to be like a 30-minute review. This is like 40 minutes, but whatever. I really love this album. I think it's cool that I spent 40 minutes talking about it. And yeah, happy 8 years to Good Kid, Mad City, one of my favorite albums. I will post on Instagram when I get the vinyl, because I would like to show that. And I would like to hear it on a vinyl. I'd like to actually get a record player and listen to the album on vinyl. See you guys next time. And I'm going to be, hopefully, giving you guys some new Kendrick content in the next few weeks. And I have a really cool idea. I'm not sure I'm going through with it, at the time I'm recording this at least, but I have an idea for T-Pav, and I like it. So see you guys next time. Bye. So I don't want to make this video much longer because, you know, it's already 40 minutes. But I didn't expect the day it turned 8 that I'd actually get the vinyl in the mail. I obviously bought it, and then I wanted to put it in the mail. So, yeah, I got the Good Kid, Mad City vinyl, and it's 8 years today. Like, I got this the 8-year anniversary, the actual day. So, like, I've already opened it a bit. I already have, like, everything off of it and whatnot. So we have inside art. We have, like, descriptions of everything. And, like, I didn't know. This is the first vinyl I've ever got. You have, like, descriptions of Shireen, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Backseat Freestyle, Compton. You have, also, this is deluxe. I got the deluxe. I probably could have gotten just the original for cheaper, but this cover of the deluxe is, like, my favorite album cover. This thing is cool. Like, I love the car aesthetic with the sky. I don't like the family picture as much. But, discs we got in here. We have side A and B. So this is first 4 tracks, last 4, or second tracks, I don't know. Yeah, everything through Art of Fear Pressures on side A. Everything through Mad Cities through side B. Everybody probably knows how this works. Which actually, I didn't realize until now how sided this album is. Because, like, those first 4 tracks really work well as their own thing. And then the next 4 tracks work well as their own thing, kind of. Now, obviously, they work better as the whole Good Kid, Mad City, but they sound good independently. Let's see. Then this is side C that goes Swimming Pools through Real, which I know the reason why that's the case. And it makes me wonder if the original album, Real, is the conclusion. Because side D has Compton and then the 3 bonus tracks. I didn't know that the remixes wouldn't be on this, and I'm not too upset. I don't love either. But yeah, this is the second vinyl. So yeah, I'm gonna put this up on my wall, and I'm gonna pause the video, and then I'll put it up. I'll put it up on my wall, and I'm gonna use thumbtacks for now. I'm gonna find a shelf system later. But yeah, first vinyl. I'm probably gonna get m.A.A.d next. So yeah, I didn't realize, no, that there is a person in the car. I didn't even realize that. Okay, let's hang it up, and I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, so I'll just put it where I feel like it. Okay, there it is, right there on the wall. That'll be there in every video now, and more vinyls I get, the more I'm going to put them there. And I'm probably going to make this wall, I can move this. I've never done that. I probably should. So you will be able to see more of the collection. I also thought of putting it on this wall, and I might move it later because this wall gives me the ability to, like, more you'll get to see it more. Fans and viewers will see the collection better on that wall, because that I might actually just do that. But point is, this video is getting too long. So yeah, I got the Good Kid, M.A.A.d City vinyl. 8 years, happy to say it. Yeah. Bye. Officially bye. This time no more. Bye.